I wasn't really sure what to expect from the fifth Ice Age film, both in terms of the narrative and the quality. Fifth films in series are generally not very good, but actually, it's not too bad. It's not my favourite, but I didn't hate it. Ice Age Collision Course was released in 2016. It's directed by Michael Thurmeyer, written by Michael Wilson, Michael Berg, and Yoni Brenner. We have a cast including Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, Denis Leary, Adam DeVine, Jessie J, Nick Offerman, Sean William Scott, Simon Pegg, Wanda Sykes, Jennifer Lopez, Queen Latifah, Stephanie Beatriz. Needless to say, fabulous voice cast. The animation is really beautiful for this. The animation for all of them is great, but there were a few moments in this one that I really particularly enjoyed. The narrative is okay. When I realised what it was about, I read a very brief description on IMDb before watching it. I thought this doesn't sound like it would appeal to me, but actually it's not too bad. Basically, because of something Scratch does, an asteroid is now threatening to wipe out everything on Earth, and it's up to everybody to try and find safety and obviously prevent anything from happening if they can. And we also have other things happening, little pockets of narratives. We have Ellie getting married, and we have the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs in this are beautiful. I love the animation for them. They look absolutely fantastic. We do have quite a lot of characters. I don't know this for certain, but it feels like we have more main characters in this film than we do any of the others. I don't know if that's the case, but that's just how it felt. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it did mean that it felt a little busier than some of the other films. Again, I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, more of just an observation. And the narrative itself, it was okay. I didn't mind it as a concept. As I said, I read it and thought, I don't know if I'm going to love this. And actually, it was not too bad. I was obviously keen to find out ultimately what would happen, and I enjoyed the journey. And I'm not going to say what happens, but the destination wasn't bad either, to the point where I got to the end and thought, okay, let's see what the sixth one is going to be about. I'm still kind of the mind that a sixth one might be stretching it out a little bit too far. But to be honest, I feel the same way about the fifth film before I watched it, and I didn't hate it. So actually, I will go into the sixth one with an open mind and hope for the best. I'm aware that there's also the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, which I don't know anything about. I'm not sure if it's available on streaming anywhere in the UK. In fact, I will check. Yes, it is. I figured I'd check so I can provide some actual useful information rather than just speculating. Yeah, I might watch that one at some point soonish, maybe. Probably. I don't know what it's about. Either way, Ice Age Collision Course is an interesting enough concept. I didn't know if I'd love it, but actually the execution was not too bad. We have a lot of characters, some new characters. The animation is beautiful. There are some really gorgeous bits of animation. There's one bit where something is rolling in the sky and it gets very foggy or cloudy. That's the best way I can describe it without giving away too much, and it was gorgeously done. And there's one bit when they're caught in an electrical storm and they get all puffed up, and it was very funny. Probably not the funniest film in terms of the dialogue. A lot of the dialogue between characters in previous films I found to be very entertaining. That's not to say it's not funny or entertaining, but compared with the other films, it's maybe not quite as good. But nevertheless, I thought Ice Age Collision Course was not too bad, definitely better than expected, and I will go into the sixth film when it's released, which I think is going to be next year, with an open mind, because honestly, 5 films in, it's not terrible. I'm not hating it, and there are a lot of positive things about this. If you've liked the previous films, I definitely recommend this. If you haven't cared for the previous films, as I said, I don't think it is quite as good as most of its predecessors, so I'd say it's probably not worth watching. But I am otherwise very happy to recommend it. I definitely didn't think it was too bad at all.